You're listening to Prophecy Talk with Erika Grey.
Nothing seemed to have an effect on the EU like the Donald Trump presidency. His embracing Nigel Farage, the man responsible for Brexit, and with talk of appointing Ted Malloch as U.S. ambassador to the EU, who stated that he helped bring down the Soviet Union and there is another union that needs help in being brought down, referring to the European Union. If this all were not enough, Trump's team reached out to the far-right's National Front in France. Finally, Donald Trump seeking bilateral trade relations and Trump open to the U.S. restoring relations with Vladimir Putin. And now Trump is regarded as one of the enemies of EU unity and is upsetting the geopolitical flora. The Economist writes, there is an insurgent in the White House, and the European press has written the harshest criticisms of Trump over the U.S. press. He is regarded as a neo-fascist who is going to turn the tide on U.S.-EU relations. While Trump might be the darling of his electorate and the remedy for many of America's internal problems, he and Steve Bannon are a horror show for the EU. Donald Trump is just being Donald Trump. His views on the EU are obviously fashioned by those he has chosen to surround himself with, such as Nigel Farage. It is obvious that Donald Trump is already evidencing that he will be a strong leader, one who follows through on his promises to his electorate. How U.S.-EU relations will evolve is still a wait to be seen, but the initial signposts are not good. With the financial crisis, the migrant crisis, radical Islam, Russia, and now Trump, with Donald Trump being named as a threat to the European Union, the new U.S. president is helping to create the moment for Europe. Nigel Farage stated the EU is terrified of Donald Trump, and if this is true, in their fear and reaction will come the moment when history is made by the decisions that EU politicians will make regarding the EU's reform. Consider these statements by Guy Verhofstadt.
Europe is at a crossroads and is undergoing an existential crisis, not only outside but also inside. Inside, we are under the threat of populists and nationalists. Outside, there is Trump, who even believes that Europe will disintegrate further. There is Putin, who wants to divide the European Union. And at the same time, there is this external threat of the political radical Islam. Member states have always fear of an in-depth reform of the Union. But let's face the reality, they are with their back against the wall. So it's now the moment to reform the European Union, to make it a real union, and not a loose confederation of nation states still based on the unanimity rule.
The EU is going to have that moment, and Donald Trump is helping to create it just by being Donald Trump. It is the tectonic geopolitical shift that I've been forecasting based on end-time Bible prophecy. On the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, EU leaders will be meeting, and from here it is anticipated that they will launch the intergovernmental conference that will result in a treaty change that will reform the EU into a full-fledged political power with its own army. It is possible that the Intergovernmental Conference will begin, and it is foreseeable that the next treaty change, the treaty will possibly be negotiated in time for the start of the next Commission presidency, which will begin in 2020 after the next U.S. election. The next new Commission will have Donald Trump to thank for its new powers and streamlined structure. The structure that will most likely match the description provided in the book of Revelation and Daniel and be on its way to fulfilling end-time Bible prophecy. For more on end-time Bible prophecy, subscribe to my channel, Prophecy Talk Today. And also be sure to follow me on Twitter.